Okay, y'all, let's get started because I know that we're starting just a tad bit late. So class 5 of 6 sessions, that means we're working on the 5th chakra. That's going to be all of the energy in the neck, the throat, the shoulders, and all of the arms. We're going to work on all of that today. So one thing to note about working on chakra 5, the throat, is that it also connects to your jaw, and this connects intimately to your hips. It's called craniosacral therapies. So if you notice that there's pain in the neck, pain in the neck, it's where we get those psychosomatic sayings from. You're either a pain in the neck or a pain in my butt. So they are intimately connected. The jaw connects to the hip energy. So think about how your jaw hinges and think about how your hips hinge also. That's how I know whenever we're tensing up in class, whenever we're doing like some intense strengthening movements in the hips, that's when you always hear me say, relax your jaw, relax your jaw, relax your jaw. Because anytime these muscles tense up, usually it's going to send messages to your jaw or to these nerves right here. So we're going to move and be very cautious because these are the smallest bones in the vertebral column. We do want to maintain mobility and strength in the neck. Also looking at reducing any risk of injury. So anytime something hurts, just stop doing it and go back to a comfortable place. All right, let's start with our block between the knees and the thighs. Taking a look down at our feet, seeing that the feet move towards an alignment where the outer edges and the outer arches are lined up to the outer edges of the mat. So it may look like we're turning our big toes in, and that's what we want. We want our feet to look like our shoes when you put your shoes on the ground. Let's roll the shoulders back, opening up the palms of the hands, standing tall. And as you inhale, pull the breath up into your chest. Inhale, bring it up. And if you want, you can use your hands. And then exhale, push it down. Inhale in through the nose, stomach in, chest up. Exhale, relax the chest. So we're not doing belly breathing. We're starting with lifting the energy. Inhale up, stomach in, chest up, maybe even looking up. And then exhale, push that energy down. Breathing in through the nose as much as possible. Keep the lips together and exhale from your throat. Imagine you're trying to say E without making a sound and keeping the lips together. So you might have a little bit of an audible echo in the back of the throat. E breath. In children's yoga, we call this the scuba diver breath or Darth Vader breath, because it'll create sort of an echoed or raspy effect in the back of your throat. The formal name for this breathing technique in traditional yoga practices is Ujjayi breath. It's a breath of power. And exhale, Ujjayi. 2 more, inhale. Exhale, Ujjayi. 1 more. Squeeze the block, Ujjayi. Keeping that breath, inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms back. Ujjayi breath. A few more, inhale, open up through the heart and the shoulders, squeeze the block. Exhale. 2 more. Exhale. 1 more. Inhaling both arms up and overhead, lacing the fingers. Notice if it's left thumb over right or right over left. Notice which one takes the dominant. Invert the palms, push up, push hard into the outer edge of the right foot. Press the shoulders away from the ears. Pull up your right rib and lean a little bit to the left. From here, use the right hand to drag that left arm up. close to your ear. So that left arm bicep stays close to the ear joint, using the right hand to counter the effects of gravity. Keep shifting over into that right hip. Imagine your right hip is pressing down into the floor while you're pulling up at the right waistline, opening up the liver on the right side of the body. We can look up. This is going to be more traditional. It's also physically, anatomically, and a little more work for the muscles in the neck. As an alternative, we could look straight ahead, like you're going to watch a sunrise or a sunset, just gaze out over the horizon. Maybe look over to the left, working with gravity, still able to work with a lot of range of motion, a little kinder on the body, ahimsa, which means we're going to practice loving kindness with the body. Breathe into the upper right lung. Inhale, flare out the side rib and lift a little more. On the next exhale, bring it to center. Bring the hands down in front of the body. Notice which thumb is crossed over, and now change it out. It might feel weird, or it might not feel weird. Take it overhead, invert the palms, shift the weight into the outside edge of the left foot this time, opening up the left side of the body. We're pressing the shoulder away, letting that rib pop up on the left side, leaning to the right, using our left hand to recalibrate, shifting our right arm up towards the ear, breathing into the upper left lung. We can look up. Again, this is the most work on the body. Maybe we stay just for a fraction of a moment here, just to give the body a little bit of a taste, or to experiment with the sensation of work and effort. But once we've stayed there for a bit, if it hurts, head goes neutral or head goes over to the right, because we don't want pain. Inhale, breathe into the upper left lung again. Drag the arm over. Continue to press hard into the left hip and down into the left foot. When you're ready, come to center. Palms come down to the center of the chest. Inhaling, sweeping both arms up and overhead. Exhale, coming down halfway, maybe keeping the head higher than the heart higher than the hips for now. Option to come down a little more. The farther down we go, the more we may want to focus on bending the knees, giving us a little more protection in the spine, and focusing more on strengthening your leg and hip and low back muscles. Relax your jaw. I know some of you, I caught you busted. Press the shoulders away from the ears. Lift up your heart so it feels more like a standing cow almost. It's a sensation pulling from the navel down to the block in the thighs. Another sensation in the heart, pulling straight forward towards the horizon, and then the crown of the head lifting up towards the sky. Breathe into the center of the chest. Expanding breath. Exhale, Ujjayi. Breathe into the chest. Pull your stomach in on the inhale. It's going to be a reverse breathing paradox. And then exhale. Notice when you do that, what it did to the muscles in your upper back. Inhale, reverse breath. Strengthening middle back. Exhale, relax a little. Just one more. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the thighs. Let's straighten the legs, noticing that the spine may naturally begin to round. We're shifting forward. Keep the toes spread really wide. Sometimes you can't do it with those tight socks. So try to spread against your socks. Let's walk the hands past the knees, taking pressure off the kneecaps. Let the whole body relax like a rag doll. As we work with a little bit of traction in the spine, we could always keep the hands on the shins supporting the spine. Or another option is to reach across with the right hand for your left bicep or forearm. Reach across with the left hand. So you're holding on with the arms crossed onto the forearms. Let the elbows drag towards the floor. At any time, we could bend the knees a little bit to take some pressure out of the low back, while we continue to stretch the upper parts of the spine. Let's all hang like a rag doll, shake the head yes. Turn the head left and right. Come to a center point, shake yes again. Big exhale from the throat. Notice when we exhale with the jaw relaxed, notice if there is any response from the hips to that big exhale from the jaw. Inhale, thinking about what the hips are doing. Let the breath go from the jaw. Let's try 2 more. Inhale, let it go. Inhale, and let it go. Let's bring our hands to the shins again, avoiding any pressure on the kneecaps. Begin straightening the arms, propping up the spine. Hands can walk up to the thighs. Let's take our yoga block and place it at the top of the mat. With a flat back, reverse swan dive, coming all the way up, pushing through our strong feet, strong legs, looking up. And then exhale, circle back, bringing the palms up, sitting the hips back into a very casual chair pose. Very casual. Inhale. It's not even chair, it's bar stool. Don't even.
Oh, I'm happy.
It's hanging out at the speakeasy position, which is more like this, but whatever. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, take it down. Less effort, less effort. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale down. Now for the next 2 or 3, keep the flow with the breath and experiment with closing the eyes. So we could close the eyes only when we are still. We could close the eyes when we flow. Maybe we close the eyes the whole time. Just notice where your comfort level is when you close your eyes. Closing the eyes is an opportunity to practice introspection. Exhale. And sometimes when we go, I'm never closing my eyes, it's like, well, are you refusing to practice introspection, right? I don't want to go within. It's a dark place, you know? It's dark in there. Let's hold it in chair pose. Hold it right here. From here, walk your toes into touching. So one thing about twisting through the neck, there's a lot of ways to approach it. Let's go ahead and approach the twist, initiating at your low back, and we're going to twist the head last. To do this, let's take the left hand and turn the thumb down. Press behind you and bend the elbow, placing the knuckles at the low back. Check in with your shoulder and rotator cuff. Sometimes this position doesn't feel very good. If it feels painful at all, hand on the hip. Squeeze your knees together really tight. Preferably, you would keep them open enough to maybe have a golf ball there. But for what we're going to do, you can just press them together. Let's take our right hand across the body. Flip your hips back a little more. Notice that as we initiate this twist, it's twisting the spine, it's twisting through the hips. Your right knee is going to try to follow. We're gonna isolate that right knee. Push your right knee and right hip back and keep reaching to the left in the twist. Wringing out the spine, basically, you're wringing it out. Surprise breath. Breathe into your upper chest. We're gonna use a paradox breath. It doesn't make sense to breathe down into the belly here. You would almost have to like funnel the breath to the stomach. So we're using that paradox breath. Belly in on the inhale. Lower the right hand down outside the left knee or outside your left thigh. Using a little bit of effort and leverage, push your hand into your thigh and your thigh into your hand. And notice that this will enable you to stabilize the right shoulder and you'll get a bigger twist. Don't forget to breathe. Inhale, upper left lung. Exhale, soften a little. Inhaling into the upper left lung. Exhale, soften. Just one more big breath. And exhale, bring it around to center. Rub out your left hip if it caught on fire. Okay, straighten the legs and relax down. Forward fold. Let's take at least 3 to 5 breaths here with symmetry in the body, relaxing the jaw and softening the hips. Inhaling into the nose, exhale, mouth open. Inhale into the nose, exhale, really push the breath out. At any time, bend the knees a little more and maybe get a little more access to that stretch in the upper parts of the spine and neck. When your body is ready, walk the hands up to the thighs, supporting the spine, reverse swan dive, bring it up. Exhale, sweep the hands back and around, coming into chair. Bar stool. We don't want to go down too low, not yet. This time, let's take our right hand down, sweep it behind you, knuckles to the low back. As we begin to reach across, twisting to the right, push your left hip and left knee back. Another way to say this is, as I twist to the right, I can push the right hip, relax your jaw, right hip forward. Push your right hip forward and reach to the right. Coming down a little lower. If you're starting to notice that your knees are catching attitude in this pose, right? I don't like to talk bad about any body part. I just think they all have a little personality, right? So if your knees are starting to catch attitude with you, spread your toes out and lift your heels a little bit. By changing that angle in the ankle, you may be able to unlock your knees. Let's press the left hand to the inside, press the left hand to the outside of your right thigh. And think about trying to press the thigh against the hand while the knees stay together. And then twist a little more. Practice that paradox breathing. Inhale, stomach in. It's kind of like the surprise breath also. Exhale, we can look over the shoulder. We can look down at the floor. We can look ahead to the yoga block also. Breathing mostly into the upper right lung. Maybe even breathing so that you feel it under your left shoulder blade. If you're starting to have a little wave of heat or feel a little warm, we are doing a lot with metabolism. Big inhale. Exhale. Let's bring it around to center. Forward fold. Reset the hips. Option to use your yoga block. Maybe keep the head a little lifted. No matter where we go with this, hand on the block, hands on the legs, hands on the floor, maybe crisscross option. Just focus on the breath. Big inhale, bigger exhale. Let's go ahead and separate the feet while we're here to about hip width. Picking up our yoga block. Pressing into the heels of the hands and letting the elbows wing out. So we're creating a pretty hard angle in the wrist here. And this is going to be completely opposite of this. Push into the block. Let's step our left foot back, a casual stride, nothing too crazy. Both legs are straight. We're reaching the arms up and overhead. Inhale, press back with the block. Push your left hip forward and right hip back. Nice. Look at that. Shakira, Shakira. Okay. Inhale, lift. Exhale, pull it down. Bend the right knee and shift forward. Keep lifting the head and looking towards the horizon. So you could look down. The alignment is, if we had an egg on our head, we want to lower the chin enough so the egg could roll off. To work on the throat today, maybe lifting the chin just a little more so that you're trying to balance that egg or balance a book. Amy Vanderbilt, etiquette class. Okay. Inhale, come up, maintaining a still, very still neck and head. Exhale, come forward, balance the book on your head, push back hard into that left heel. You could even try to lift your left toes off the mat and notice how that feels. Very different as it's pulling up the muscles that connect to your knee. Inhale, come up, balancing the book on our head. Exhale, coming down, easy does it. From here, option 2, lift the heel, keeping pressure in the ball of the foot. So already the body is experiencing more weight bearing in the right leg. Bone density, strength, stabilization, all of that is happening. If we want to experiment, we can also lift a little more. So as we straighten that right leg, we can come up onto the tippy toe of that back foot. And maybe we hold it here. Let's find the gaze straight ahead. And then maybe squeeze just the left buttocks and hover that leg. So you would squeeze the butt cheek and lift. Don't squeeze too hard though. That can irritate your SI joint. Just a little, it's like if you had a scratch, you have something itchy there, but it's inappropriate to reach back and scratch it. There you go. How would you deal with that? It's like, just a little squeeze. We've all been there, ladies. Some undergarments are just too tight. When you're ready, lower the back foot, bend the front knee. Inhale, both arms overhead. Exhale, step forward. From here, shifting forward, lifting the heels. Let's start looking down at the floor for this one. Shifting forward, little lift of the heels, just enough to swipe a credit card. Keep a soft bend in the kneecaps. Now maybe lift the chin to look towards the horizon. Only lift the eyes. The gaze is going to move up to where the wall meets the ceiling. Keeping the head and neck neutral, only shifting the gaze. Maybe we engage the glutes a little bit and then press the pelvis forward. Reverse breath, inhale. And notice you're a little taller there. Exhale in place. Imagine the yoga block is between your knees. Squeeze into the thighs, squeeze your knees in. Reverse breath, inhale. Exhale. One more. Lift the chin, look up to where the wall meets the ceiling. So the alignment of the body is in alignment with the gaze. Inhale, reverse breath. And exhale, relax. Let's bring the block down in front of the body. Shake off your legs. Okay, let's find our foundation of mountain from the pelvis bone to the knees to the ankles. Pressing into the block. Is anyone else feeling kind of warm? My hair feels like chinchilla. Okay. From here, let's slide our right foot back. Casual stride. So this is really a casual warrior one expression. Straightening both legs, reaching up and overhead with the block. Let's check in with our knees to make sure that we can actively unlock them. There are some styles of yoga that teach a straight leg and will ask you to lock your knees out. They have their own reasons for that. From the lineage of yoga that I teach, we never lock out the joints. Y'all know what happens when you lock out the joints, right? You know, circulation is affected. You could pass, it affects blood pressure. So we're always checking in to make sure that we keep that flow of energy. Inhale, reach and press. Look straight ahead at the horizon. And now start to come forward, fixing the gaze, fixing the neck, fixing the head in place at the horizon. Inhale, lifting up, pressing back. Exhale, coming forward, pushing hard into the right heel. Inhale, coming up, gaze is fixed over the horizon. Maybe a few more flows, closing the eyes at some point. So at first, maybe fixed, close the eyes for a moment, and then open the eyes to flow. Pause, close the eyes, open the eyes, and flow. At any time, trying eyes closed with the flow. Not only could this have various mental, emotional benefits, it does sincerely work with something called proprioception in the body, which is our body's ability to orient itself in an environment by way of sensory integration. The body begins to learn what muscles need to be recruited and active to keep us from falling over. That's the bottom line. Don't want to fall over. So when we close our eyes, this requires more proprioception. This really refines the senses. Let's hold it in the down position. Looking ahead. There's a deep bend in the left leg. Let's check in, press to the inner and outer edge of the left foot. So we want to feel that there's pressure active into the ball of the foot. And then think about below the pinky toe, there's another little bulb of flesh there. It's another smaller ball in the foot. And then push back to the very center of your heel. From here, maybe we straighten the leg and begin to lift through the chest a little more, looking straight ahead over the horizon. The block can stay at the chest or you can bring it overhead. I will say bringing the block overhead requires a little more mindfulness of your middle back and spine. Option 2, squeeze just that right buttocks area and create a small lift. Tiny lift, the tiniest lift. Practicing brahmacharya, moderation in all things. We don't have to do big things to get big results. That's why yoga is so awesome. Inhale, reverse breath. Exhale, reverse breath. Exhale. One more, reverse breath. And exhale, relax, set the back foot down. Let's take the block down onto the thigh for a second. Just a little bit of a triangle pose on this side. Take the hand forward, reach it back and around. Let's squeeze out the liver and the intestines. Tiny twist over to the left. Breathe into the upper left lung, which is the cooling side of the body. So countering the effects of summer. Big inhale, bigger exhale. One more, big breath in. And exhale. You don't have to do the same pose on both sides when you're balancing energy. Let's take the hands around to center. Let's step forward, put the block down, and shake it off. Okay, let's do just a little more balance, working with the neck and the head. I'm standing so that my right foot is lined up behind my yoga block. This is going to be replicating, if we were to take our yoga practice off the mat, this is replicating taking a step. The distance away from the block is something that we can each personally refine. I'm pretty close to the block. I want to say I probably have maybe 4 inches between my toes and my block right now, because that's what it's like going up steps, even at the front of the senior center. This is almost the alignment. Let's bend the knees and notice where your body feels the most balance. It could be hands at the waist. It could be out to the side. Some of us are like, I don't know how to do this without a 20-pound purse and a cell phone. We're going to practice. Okay, let's lift our left heel, lift the left toe so the foot is flat, and now placing the ball of the foot on the block. Oh, right, not left, right, right, right. Do what I do, not what I say. Thank you, yeah. So we could always lower the block. Considering that the knees are also going to be affected, the hip is affected, the back is affected by this as well. You can change your mind at any time and change the height of that block, anytime. You can even lower it all the way down. All right, from wherever we are, let's take our right hand to the low back. Take the left arm straight up, big inhale. And on the exhale, twist towards the right. Pushing the right hip forward, right knee forward, left hip back, left leg straight with a tiny, tiny bend in the left knee. Option to shift only the eyes to the right, find a focal point, and now turn the head to follow or track the gaze. Shift the eyes a little more. Notice if the neck and head wants to turn towards the gaze. So you're shifting the eyes and then seeing if the body is in agreement to follow the gaze. Option to keep that twist, reach the left arm up overhead again, big inhale. And now exhale, circle it to your low back. Still working on balance, let's lift the toe. Option to lift the knee and then kick it out. You could also rest the back of the ankle or the heel on the block with the straight leg position. Bending your left knee, sit back a little bit. The leg could be up, hovering, or it could be down on the block. It's an introduction to a monkey pose. Slowly come up. And then relax. Move the left leg around, move the left hip around. Tiny bit. Okay, let's do it on the other side. Beginning with the block directly in front of the left foot. My block is maybe 4 inches in front of my foot. You could always step back a little more. Sometimes it feels more comfortable. Notice where the body is finding balance. Unlock the knees. Step onto the block. Before we had the foot on the floor, we lifted the heel first. So the ball of the foot was pressing. And then we lifted the toe. And then we did that step. Soft through the right knee. Let's fix the gaze over the horizon, or you can look down. Inhale, right arm up. About that right arm, for those of us who have some sensitive shoulders in here, when you lift up, remember to slide, flip the palm, press through the thumb, and then bring it up. So there's a complete adjustment in the humerus bone to the shoulder socket. Big inhale. This is where it all began today. We began with this big side stretch. Remember this? You could look up. Notice how immediately when you shift your gaze and then shift the head, it has an effect on balance. What you're looking at affects your sense of order and peace. Oh my gosh, imagine that. Inhale, reach. When you're ready, left hand to the low back, reaching across the body with our twist. Pushing the right hip back, left hip forward to counter that twist, or even to really accentuate the twist. Reverse breathing, breathe up into the upper left lung and twist a little more. Shift the eyes towards the left temple, then turn the head in alignment with the gaze. Shifting the eyes towards the left temple and then turning the head. Looking before we move, right? They say, like, what is that? Look before you leap. So fixing the gaze and then moving the head. You could also feel the breath behind your right shoulder blade. Big inhale. Option to extend the right arm up overhead. Big breath in. Exhale, come to center, right hand to the low back. Option to stay right here or extending the leg. The leg could be on the floor. It can be hovering. Let's all bend both knees and flip the hips back a little bit, establishing a lower center of gravity for the body. Lower center of gravity and forward center of gravity, which can feel unique. It can feel unique, especially for women. Center of gravity is a little different because of our anatomical structures. Big inhale, reverse breath into the upper chest. Lift the gaze. Look forward or look up and breathe into the chest. We're empowering that upward flow of prana that goes from the center of the heart, which we focused on last week, through the throat, 5th chakra, up through the middle of the brain. One more big inhale and exhale, releasing the hands, both feet to the mat, and release the arms. Whole body supported. Let's inhale both arms up overhead. And then exhale, swan dive down. We can always use our block. I have the block under my right hand. My left hand is on my left thigh, stepping my left leg back on the toe, heel is lifted, and then slowly lowering down into a supported kneeling lunge. We can still use the block, sweeping the right foot back, finding an all fours position. From here, let's take the block just off to the side, come down onto the elbows. Let's use our knees, walking the knees back on our yoga mat until we come down supported on the pelvis. This is a big hip opener, which sometimes can be the language to that needs to be clarified. We're opening the front of the hip, right? So that is a part of the body that can get very tight, but not necessarily strong. All right, so we're keeping the front of the hip open. Bring the elbows directly under the shoulder joint. And turn the palms down, making a 90-degree angle. The wrist is coming straight out from the elbow. So in class, we talked about the feet, the edges of the feet lining up with the edges of the mat. Consider lining up the elbow to the wrist in a straight line to the edge of the mat now. If it hurts, bring the thumbs in. Pull your elbows back. And notice when you do that, it is going to create a little bit of traction across the pelvis bone. You're going to pull the elbows back, press the shoulders down, and now practice that paradox breath and breathe into your chest. On the inhale, pull your stomach in and lift your chest. Exhale, relax. 2 more. Inhale. We are in a deep supported back bend in Sphinx pose. We're getting ready to transition this. Inhale and exhale. To transition this, take your elbows off of the mat. Keep pulling the elbows in. So what is most common is the elbows will go out. Pull the elbows in, and this can strengthen the ribs and rotator cuff. Only come up to a point where your shoulders stay happy. If your shoulder is angry, listen, yes, stop. They go, it hurts when I do this. Well, then don't do that. We're not gonna make it work. There's no magic. On the inhale, elbows stay in, maybe they hover, and shoulders press away from the ears. We're coming into a traditional cobra. Exhale, lower down. We're only coming up with the inhale. Breathe into the center chest. So the lungs are supporting and empowering the stretch. Exhale down. Lift the chin to look up to where the wall meets the ceiling. Inhale and exhale. Only one more. Inhale. We don't need to do a lot of these. A little goes a long way. And exhale. From here, roll over onto your left side. Bend both knees. Lift your right leg. Take your right hand and reach for your ankle. If you know that your knees get a little attitude, flex your left foot. That means make a flat caveman foot while you hold on to your shin or ankle. You are in a half bow expression now, half bow. We're opening the hip and we're moving into opening the throat at the same time. You can, if you want, keep a hold on that right ankle and then roll over onto your stomach. You heard me. That was not one of those weird left and right cues. Yeah. Naturally, some of us are not going to keep a hold of that foot. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Sometimes when you hold on, for some of us, it's actually easier when we hold on because there's no more work. There's no more work. We're using physics, right? We're grasping. So no matter where you are, slide that left hand in close to you. Maybe make your elbow to your wrist in alignment with the top edge of your mat, and now push into your forearm. So now we have the front of the hip open, lift the chin, move your jaw. All the energies are open. You don't have to hold on to your foot. There's nothing magical about that. In fact, it could stress out your shoulder, right? You don't want to do that. Inhale, push up through that back foot like a donkey kick. Little tiny squeeze on the buttocks. Tiny, tiny. Inhale, lift. Exhale, relax. Nice. Let's turn it over to the other side. Lying on the side body. Bring it in. Oh my gosh, look at the time. But we have to do it. Because I'm OCD, we got to do this side. Right. When you're ready, roll to your stomach. I know, she just said we don't have to do both sides. But we do. I'm a woman, I can change my mind anytime. All right, let's take a look at the right arm so that we angle your elbow with your shoulder and then take your forearm in alignment with the front of your mat. I know it's nitpicking, I know. Push into the arm, inhale. Donkey kick with the back foot. It's easier to do it with a flat foot. The little donkey kick. Squeeze the buttocks, tiny, tiny squeeze. Remember, you don't have to hold on. Paradox breath, inhale into the chest. Exhale, look up to where the wall meets the ceiling. Relax the jaw. Just one more. And exhale. Relax your whole body, just lay there. Lay there like CSI crime scene. Just lay there, let them draw chalk around your body. Chalk line, okay? The head might be centered, it could be to the left, it could be to the right. This is another expression of Shavasana, or final relaxation pose. If you're noticing that this feels really good, just stay here. If you think you want to lie down on your side of your back, go ahead and roll over onto your side or onto your back. And let's move into final relaxation. So maybe we stay where we are, lying on the belly. If we roll onto our back, we might need to do a few other little adjustments to get the spine comfortable. It could be knees to chest. It could be happy baby pose. It could be a little bit of legs at the wall with more ankle circles. Take your sweet time to get adjusted and to get comfortable. I am going to go about 5 minutes more, so we will be going to almost 20 minutes after the hour. I am respectful of everyone's time, so for those of you that know that you have other appointments, just so you know, I am going a little bit over today. So the fifth chakra, the energy of the throat, intimately connected to the hips. Relax the low back first. Notice any tension in the buttocks. Notice any tension holding even in the stomach. Sense the presence of a turquoise blue orb of light in the throat, expanding well beyond the physical body, moving out over the shoulders, moving down the arms, turquoise blue light over the hands. The element that is associated to this particular chakra is subtle ether. And people go, well, what is that, right? Last week we looked at the heart, which is air. This week, the throat, subtle ether. So it's that place in the atmosphere between earth and space where you get to exist in both planes of consciousness. An earthly person, and also there's an element of expanded consciousness and spirituality that can feed into this energy. This energy regulates communication, not only how we are speaking to other people, but also how we interpret the language that we receive. Also regulating internal dialogue, how we speak to ourselves. Noticing any dialogue running in the background. The purpose of meditation is not to clear the mind, but rather learning the art of observation, the ability to watch what's going on in the mind, to listen without judgment or criticism, breathe in the sound of ah, exhale the sound of without having to make an audible sound, using that voice from within to recruit those healing energies, bijas, seed sounds. Inhaling ah, exhaling Shape the breath so that the inhale is moving the stomach now. Inhaling into your belly. Ah. Exhaling. Maybe after the pause. Create that space after every exhale, creating a space so that we really carve out inhale, exhale, pause. Inhale, exhale, pause. Think of that little pause as the maybe more mature version of an adult timeout for your brain. Inhale, exhale, pause, calling a timeout. Let's begin to lessen that pause so that eventually those rhythms and cycles of breath are woven into each other. Inhale, exhale, only a fraction of a moment. Inhale again. Seamless breathing, eventually seamless. When we get to that seamless breath, with that active flow of energy in the breath, begin to actively think about moving your fingers, moving your toes. We're in lots of different positions on the floor today, considering how your body wants to transition eventually up to seated. Moving slow. Taking our time so that our blood pressure is happy, the hips are happy. One of the simplest hand gestures to work with this energy of subtle ether is to take your left hand and turn the palm up, and then take your right hand and touch the floor. So you're open to those experiences that are maybe a little otherworldly, and then at the same time, you stay grounded and connected to the earth. Sitting nice and tall. This is my left. This is my right. Oh, thank God he didn't make me with 3 arms. I would be so lost. Sit nice and tall. Lower the chin just enough so an egg can roll off the head. Taking a nice big breath with that ah. And if you want, hum the little One more. In closing, we can bring our hands together. Traditional closing gesture of Anjali Mudra, taking in a deep unifying breath together, and then bowing together to close. Namaste.
Namaste.
Now we're all done.
Thank you, Skila.
Thank you. Next week, week 6, it was a workout. But guess what? Next week, if you bring a pillow, we're doing.
We're gonna have a nap.
Just bring a pillow next week. It's only 9. So next week, chakras, it's week 6, chakras 6 and 7, which are so close in proximity. We always work both together. So it's gonna be a lot of meditation and mindfulness next week.
Really bring a pillow?
Really bring a pillow. I'm not kidding. We can always use the extra yoga mats
Can
as
you bring your
pillows.
gong?
Oh my gosh, I will totally bring the singing bowls. All right.
I love that.
Good week.
Thank you so much. Don't forget to sign up for the next session.
Yes, sign up.